Let's go ahead and go through the transformations homework. In this assignment, you're being asked to translate items. Okay, so in this case, we've got this line here, and it's the graph y equals h of x. We have to translate it to make the new graph here. Well, what does it want us to do? It wants us to translate and move the x. Now, the way to remember this is if it's outside the parentheses, then we're moving up and down. Okay? So, for example, if it says f of x plus 2, then I know I'm moving up 2 units. Okay? Now, if it's inside the parentheses, minus a number or plus a number, doesn't matter. If it's inside the parentheses here, then we know we're moving left and right. Okay? But the thing to watch out for is right there, that sign is backwards from what you might think. If we're adding, we're moving to the left. If we're subtracting, we're moving to the right. Okay? Unlike here, where you're doing the y, if you're adding, you move up. If you're subtracting, you move down. Okay? So those are the 4 things you need to remember. So let's see what we've got to do here. Right here it wants us to go minus 4. It's inside, so we're moving right or left. And we remember plus or minus. The way that I remember it is I always say, hey, it's always plus or minus. And I write it in that format, plus, minus. That tells me that plus goes that way and minus goes that way. Okay, just by writing it, plus or minus. So here I'm doing a minus 4, so I know I need to move to the left 4 units. So I'm just going to grab this and go 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And that's where I'm going to leave it, right there. Another way to remember it is what's negative 1 plus 4? Well, that will be 3. Okay, so that's our answer for that one. Now here, we're translating the graph, and we see right here that it's outside the parentheses. Okay, so outside means we're moving up or down. Let's do that a little better. Up or down. And just think of it as the y-intercept. If you add a number, it's going to go up. If you subtract a number, it's going to go down. So in this case, I'm subtracting, so it's going to go down 1, 2, 3. Instead of being a 0, it's now going to be negative 3. Okay, number 3, translate it so that it moves x plus 2. Where is my plus? It's inside the parentheses, so I know it's plus or minus. And that tells me what side they're on. So I know I'm plus 2, so I'm going to the left. 1, 2. And that's where that one goes. Okay, in this one, I see that it goes minus 3 inside. So inside, I know it's plus or minus. You see why I keep saying plus or minus? It's the normal way to say it, but it tells you which side the plus is on and which side the negative's on, if you just write it that way. Okay, so inside the parentheses, minus 3. If it's in the parentheses, it goes back left or right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I'm moving to the right 3 because it's minus. Okay, below is the graph of the square root of x. Now here starts getting tricky. We have one inside and one outside. So we have to decide what we're doing first. Okay, think of it as a piece at a time. Now this is just the same thing as x minus 3 plus 2. The square root symbol, just think of it as parentheses. Okay, so the minus 3, again, plus, minus, the minus 3 means I'm moving it to the right 3 units. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then what am I going to do? Well, right here, I have a minus 2. So that means I'm going down 2. Remember, minus is down. So from this point, I'm going down 1, 2. Just like that. So if you get more than one, don't panic. Just do one first and then the other one. Okay, here we have y equals x. Again, think of these as parentheses. Parentheses. Okay, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I got to move it left or right. So plus or minus, plus goes left. And that's a plus. So I'm going to move it left 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I've got a minus out there, which means there's the minus 2, which means it's going to go down 2. So now I take where it landed, just go 1, 2, just like that. Okay, now we've got a cubed here. Don't worry so much about the cubed. Picture it as parentheses. We've got a minus 2. So we're going to go right 2. Because remember, minus, plus or minus, it's plus or minus. Minus is on that side, so we're going right. And then plus 4, meaning the y-intercept is getting bigger by 4, so I'm going to move it up 4. And that's where that one will go. All this extra fancy stuff, yeah, you can do the t-chart and everything. But if you've got a graph that you can move around like this, then just move the graph. Okay, once again, the whole thing is in parentheses, so the whole thing is in parentheses. What's inside the parentheses here? Plus 5. So we've got plus or minus in the parentheses, which means it's got to go that way, to the left, so not up. So we're going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, whatever's here is in parentheses, so it goes in parentheses down here. And I covered over it. I think that's a plus. Yep, plus 2 on the edge there. So if that's plus 2, then that means it's going up 2. If it's outside the parentheses, it's up or down. So we're just going to go up 2. And finally, here's my parentheses, and notice it's changing inside the parentheses right here, isn't it? It's even, the parentheses are written right in the problem there. I'm minus 2, or minus 3. So I need to move that, not left, right 3 units, not 2, 3. Because if you remember, it's plus or minus, and that tells you which direction they move. Okay, so plus goes left, minus goes right. And that is how you do this assignment. It's much easier than it appears. Don't overthink it. You'll do just fine.